DailyMail.com claims that drinking alcohol kills brain cells. Unscientific publications like to advertise the idea that alcohol directly kills brain cells because it causes fear and interest in the general public, and that fear and interest directly translates to ad revenue for their websites. However, this is simply untrue. Alcohol does not directly kill brain cells. It does do some damage to different parts of the neuron. However, all of this damage has been proven in different ways to be absolutely reversible. Now, that's not to say that alcohol doesn't cause damage in brain cells. For example, a study performed by Chris and Clint Sova in 2015 found that in neonatal rats that were exposed to excessive and acute amounts of alcohol, dendrite numbers and dendrite complexity was very, very reduced. However, they also found that once these alcohol-exposed rats were forced on an exercise regimen on running wheels, these dendrites returned to the normal levels of complexity and the normal numbers, displaying plasticity in brain cells and the ability of brain cells to repair the damage done to them. If these brain cells were, in fact, killed by alcohol, there wouldn't be any repair happening. Another study performed in 2014 by Costin and Miles found that alcohol interacts with GABA receptors in the brain and also interacts with other components of the brain and neural cells. They found that alcohol depresses and dampens the signals between cells and synaptic transmissions, and also binge drinking has a very negative effect on gene expression, especially the genes that control myelin expression. Now, myelin is extremely important in cell-to-cell signaling as it surrounds the axon of many neurons and helps make signals between cells travel faster, and thus binge drinking actually reduces myelin expression and thus myelin production, which means that signals between cells cannot travel as fast. However, this does not directly kill the neurons in the brain cell. Another part of the neuron that can be damaged by excessive alcohol use is the soma, which is the body of the neuron itself. Researcher Francesco Ferrini and his associates performed a study in 2017 where they exposed pyramidal neurons to applications of ethanol. Here, they found that the ethanol had no adverse effects on cell survival. However, their input resistance and firing rate was dampened for a 6-minute period after the ethanol was applied to the cell. Thus, alcohol did not kill these neurons, however, it did temporarily damage their ability to fire and thus communicate with other neurons around them. These three ways that we've just talked about are all biological and chemical ways in which excessive alcohol consumption directly damages the brain cell. However, there are also indirect effects of alcohol that can also lead to poor neuron function. As an individual increases the amount of alcohol that they consume, they naturally and automatically decrease the amount of nutrient-dense foods that they can eat. This lack of nutrients can translate to a vitamin deficiency. Now, a deficiency in vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, can directly cause Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which is extremely serious and can lead to death. And Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome is often seen in alcoholics. Ed Day, a researcher, and his associates found in a July 2013 study that when alcoholics were provided with thiamine, it decreased their chances of contracting Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Thus, alcohol consumption can lead to other damage in the body, and that can also translate to damage to neurons through vitamin deficiencies. However, again, alcohol consumption does not directly cause neural death. Thus, while many tabloids and unscientific publications claim that alcohol directly kills neurons in the brain, this simply isn't true. alcohol does damage neurons in the brain, and this damage can manifest in the form of dendrite damage, neuron depression, myelin deregulation, GABA receptor depression, or can result from a nutrient deficiency. However, each of these forms of damage are entirely reversible in the form of vitamin supplements or just eliminating binge drinking and thus reducing the alcohol damage on these cells.